Welcome to the Leaving Cert Biology channel. This ties hand in hand with our website leavingcertbiology.ie, which is a platform for 5th and 6th year students in Ireland studying Leaving Cert Biology. Of course, we have our TikTok and Instagram page at leavingcertbiology.ie as well, where we offer completely free videos, tips, tricks, exam strategy and trends. And on our website, we have exam paper structure, timing, all of our completely free podcast episodes and so much more. Our aim is to support students all over Ireland and make notes accessible to absolutely everybody. Did we say podcast earlier? Yes, we did. Over on Spotify, the Leaving Cert Biology podcast is live with episodes on almost every single topic on your course, again, completely for free. But for now, we're going into the second chapter of Unit 1, Characteristics of Life, which again is a short one, but it does have to be understood as it builds a good foundation of knowledge for the chapters to come. So we're going to start off by looking at living things and the characteristics that they have. So here we have 5 of them and we're going to talk about them all in detail. So we've organisation, nutrition, excretion, response and reproduction. Now the wording of these in questions in biology papers is going to prove very important, as is every single definition that you write in your Leaving Cert Biology paper. So we're going to start off with organisation, and this means that all living things are composed of basic units known as cells. Cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, and organs make up organ systems. We will revisit this in our cell structure and cell diversity chapters, but the cell is the basic unit of a living thing. For now, we'll stick with just that much. Next, then we're moving on to characteristic number 2, which is nutrition. Do not say nutrition is food. It's the way an organism obtains and uses its food. So how an organism gets and uses its food. Now we know that organisms are very, very different. Some organisms can make their own food, and these are known as autotrophs. For example, plants. The process by which plants make their own food is known as photosynthesis. Other organisms, such as humans, cannot make their own food, and these are known as heterotrophs. So I always think autotrophs automatically make their own food. Autotrophs link to ecology because they are also known as producers. Then we have characteristic number 3, which is excretion. The definition is the removal of the waste products of metabolism from the body of an organism. Okay, don't just say from the body of an animal, because plants obviously can excrete as well. It just mightn't be as obvious to some of us. So let's have a look. Animals excrete urine from the kidneys, carbon dioxide from the lungs, and sweat from the skin. Plants excrete oxygen through their stomata, those tiny pores on the underside of a leaf. Remember, stomata is plural, and the singular for stomata is a stoma. Leaves are organs of excretion in a plant, and the lungs, for example, would be an organ of excretion in an animal, and again you will revisit this later on. Then we have number 4, which is response. So it's the ability of organisms to detect and react to changes known as stimuli in their internal and external environments. You will do a lot on plant responses in the plant response chapter. So animals can respond to light, sound, touch using their nervous system, and plants can respond to light, temperature, water, also the likes of gravity and chemicals, which, as I said, you will encounter in future chapters. But for now, this is just a brief introduction into the characteristics of a living organism. Okay, so remember, we need to cover plants and animals. Then we have number 5, which is reproduction. So this is the formation of new living organisms of the same species. Okay, so only organisms of the same species can interbreed to produce fertile offspring. Now we do know that we can have 2 different forms of reproduction. We can have asexual reproduction, which involves only one parent without the sex cells or gametes or the egg and sperm. Examples of asexual reproduction occur in amoeba, bacteria, and vegetative propagation. Okay, so then we have offspring are, as a result of asexual reproduction, are going to be genetically identical to the parent because there is only one parent involved. Our second type of reproduction is sexual reproduction, and it involves 2 parents producing gametes which will fuse together in the process known as fertilization to form a zygote. So the zygote will be diploid and offspring will show variation. They will not be genetically identical to their parents. It usually involves in humans the egg and the sperm, for example, and you'll see the picture of it there. Okay, of course you'll have to cover this in sexual reproduction in flowering plants as well. Then we move on to metabolism, which you'll revisit in enzymes. Metabolism is the sum of all chemical reactions in an organism, and enzymes control our metabolic reactions. We can have 2 different types of metabolic reactions. Catabolic, which involves breaking down large complex molecules into smaller, simpler ones with the release of energy. For example, digestion or respiration. So breaking down a large complex molecule into smaller ones and therefore releasing energy. That is catabolic. Cats don't build things, so catabolic is breaking down. Our second type of metabolic reaction is known as an anabolic reaction. This is the building up of larger molecules from smaller ones. These reactions require energy, and a common example that's given in an exam is photosynthesis. You will need to know an example of a catabolic and anabolic reaction for both plants and animals. So recap, you have to be able to describe the requirements in a search for the definition of life. Second one, you have to be able to list the common features and behaviours identified as living. Number 3, you have to be able to define the term metabolism, which we've just done. Number 4, which I'm going to do for you now, is to define the expression continuity of life. Continuity of life means that cells come from other pre-existing cells. Okay, that's what that means. Then we have to define and identify the characteristics of life through the principles that we have discussed. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for the next video coming soon.